So this is my initial thought of the 34-inch Toro time cutter. Bought this yesterday. It's the most expensive thing I think I've ever bought. Coming around $4,000, but I feel like this is worth it. Seems to be a good solid machine, and the past couple years I have been going through lawn tractors like crazy. This is the one I think I've had the longest, and it's on second engine, by the way. And then that gray one there I was using before, and I replaced trans in that one. So lawn tractors aren't really the way to go if you're doing the type of work I'm doing. So thought about getting a garden tractor, thought about getting a zero turn. In terms of modern garden tractors, there wasn't really anything in my price range that had the quality that I was looking for. I wanted something that would be solid, work for all the yards I mow, and also be small enough to fit through small gates. And this was kind of my only option. Gravely and Aaron's, they had a smaller machine. I think Snapper also did as well. I wanted a 38, but the 34 seems to be just fine, and I'm glad I went with Toro because I like this brand. I've had good experience with their products. I've bought or purchased or whatever this super recycler mower back in 2019, and this is one of my favorite pieces of equipment, just because of how reliable and how good it cuts. So I wanted to get something else from Toro because I've had good experiences with that brand, and I feel like if I have a good experience with a brand, I should continue purchasing products from that brand. So I also know a few people that own Toro zero turns, and they've said good things about them. So this one right here is a pretty good machine. So 34-inch deck. This is the smallest they make. Right after the 34 to go up to the 42s. They don't have a 38. I wish they did. Even a 36 would be fine. But a 38 is a good size deck to get through a lot of. Is probably like my deck size of choice. But 34 isn't bad. This is the smallest deck they could fit on one of their Time Master zero turns. Because the wheel clearance, they actually put smaller tires on this model compared to the one with the 42. So this thing has really skinny tires on the back. So it can get right up against everything. One issue I've noticed actually already with this is because they went with a 34 instead of like a 36 or something, this edge doesn't come out past this rear tire. This rear tire isn't really flush with it. So I found when I was mowing around things, I was bumping right into here along the side of the mower, which I am not really too fond of in that whatever, I can't think of what to say. So that's one of my complaints with it so far, is how pretty much the deck size. I couldn't get the 42. 38 would have been fine. That's pretty much my biggest complaint. Another thing, it's not really a complaint because I'm not sure how this feature is going to work, but this is something I'm a bit unweary of, and it's this electronic parking brake. I'm not a big fan of anything electronic, and this parking brake is definitely a really weird setup. I liked the manual parking brake on Aaron's I looked at, and I would like if Toro would have a manual parking brake on this model. This was the biggest red flag in this mower when I was looking at it. The deck isn't really a big issue, but now that I'm using it a bit more, it kind of is. But yeah, and I'll show this off. I've heard that this mechanism here hasn't really failed yet, and it looks like it would be easy to bypass if it ever did. So turn the power on, and when I let go of the handle, it should disengage. And if I hit the switch again, it should re-engage. So definitely a cool little system there. After some time it should re-engage. And it just goes down to the brake levers there on the transmissions. These transmissions, they look to be okay. I think these are service ports there, but I think you need something special to get to those. I hope these transmissions are somewhat easy to work on if they are to fail. I feel like out of the big mechanical components, the transmissions are going to probably fail first before the motor. Toro went a bit overkill with the motor on this machine. This has a 22 horsepower industrial Kohler engine. This is a model KT 725 or 725cc, and it's definitely a nice engine. And power isn't really a concern with this mower because of the engine option that Toro used. So I guess they were more worried about the. I guess they put a bit more cost into the engine. I feel like this mower would be perfect with the 18 horsepower Kawasaki V-twin. If I could spec this mower the way I wanted to, I would put I'd put an 18 horse or even a 20 horse Kawasaki on here. I like the reliability of the Kawasaki's. There's nothing wrong with these Kohlers because this thing is practically the same thing as the old school Command V-twins. This is a solid engine, so I'm not going to complain about that. And it's an American engine too. Kawasaki's, I think, are also American. And then the other option is a Lonson V-twin, which is under the Toro brand. But I don't think they offered that engine with these mowers. I'm not sure where the Lonson is made. I think it's either Mexico or China. But those things are practically a Predator clone, so that means they're a good engine, and I would go with one of those. But I've noticed those engines on these Toro zero turns, they have a bit of throttle issues, so if you up the throttle a bit too fast, they tend to stall out. My uncle has a 42-inch Toro zero turn with that engine on it, and that was an issue I noticed with it. I like the exhaust, the paint that they use on the exhaust. It looks really nice. I don't really feel like this machine's going to rust so much in terms of materials that Toro used with it. They also gave me a hitch plate with this mower, so I can still tow around a trailer with it. And something else about that is they have their patented smart speed control system up here, which gives you different mowing positions. It gives you slow for mowing tall, overgrown grass. It gives you a medium speed for towing, and a fast speed for transport. Oh, I was already in the high speed, so this is the slow speed for mowing, and then the towing speed, which is medium, and then the fast speed for transport, which this thing is nice and fast, which I like. And being that I don't have a vehicle with a trailer yet, dragging this thing around the neighborhood to go mow grass is not that hard because of how fast this mower is. So I really like that. The transmission releases are here on the back of the mower in a nice accessible area. I could just reach in right here. There's a lot of space around the engine, which I like. It seems very easy to get to everything. The battery's underneath the chair. This mower has plenty of storage. It has 3 storage cubbies. There's one over there with a cup holder, another storage cubby underneath the seat, and this one here, which I have my deck wash port here for the time being. Which that's also another feature I like about this mower, is this mower comes equipped with a deck wash port. So if you have a hose out and you want to clean your mower deck quickly, that's a good thing to do. The mower deck, I love the mower deck. Besides how small it is, the build quality on the mower decks is just amazing. This is their iron forged decks. This is, I think, their commercial deck, and this thing is thick steel. It has an extra plate of steel welded on around the bottom to prevent from scratches, which is already starting to get scratched somehow. And it goes all the way along the front and stuff for extra reinforcement. There's a really thick, heavy-duty deck. It attaches the mower in 3 positions. There's one here, another one on the other side, and then one in the front, and the belt, obviously. So with that, this deck should be very easy to remove if I have to clean and service it. Also, speaking of clean and service, the spindle cover here, there's just a pull pin, and then you push it up. No tools required. Get under here, blow it all out, and then once you're done, it just goes right on, nice and secure, and you put the push pin back in. If I can get it, which it's kind of tricky to do with one hand. But this mower is amazing with that. They really did think of everything when they designed this machine. It's assembled in America, which I like. So provides American jobs. Probably maybe this machine was built by a robot. I don't know. Still, if it is in America, there's still going to be Americans that have to service the robots that build this thing. Same with the engine. It's also assembled in America. The carburetor and fuel pump are probably from China. The fuel filters from India. I got this, which I don't really know what this is. I think this is various engine information stuff. So that exists. I think the stickers are supposed to go on that side of the engine. The air filter is really nice and easy to get to. Just two flaps here. Pulls off. The thing comes off. There's a pre-filter and a paper filter underneath that. So really nice there with how they did that. Compact machine. It fits right there in the garage easily. Don't have to lift up the chute or anything. Oh, the chute on this thing. The chute is amazing. I love the material that this is made out of. This is a rubber chute, and I feel like they should be doing this on a lot more mowers. I don't know why. The 38 is the only mower that I've seen from Toro that was at the dealership that had this. All the other ones had plastic, and this is thick rubber too. This is industrial commercial grade stuff here. And this is kind of a in-between model between industrial, commercial, and residential. So I could see this thing being used for commercial jobs, no problem. And this thing is just amazing with how they did everything on this mower. They did a really good job with the design. Front tires up here. Something I would like to see is up here somewhere. If they could put a grease fitting here for the spindle. Maybe it's all just sealed bearings or something inside, but I would like to be able to grease this if I could. The wheels have grease fittings somewhere. Yeah, they're right there. These spindles over here, the deck spindles probably have grease fittings. I feel like they should have not put a cover over this one because it's not really going to be in a way where it's going to get caught by anything, but I don't know. I wasn't the one who designed this machine. And there is the transmissions right there. And there's the informations of them. So I think this is a serial sticker type thing here for that, which is interesting. So definitely a pretty interesting machine. I decided to quickly put those decals on. This is the engine serial information right here. That one fuel thing for California, as well as the additional serial information and transmission information, which I decided to put up there. Back to the actual other product information of the machine itself. So that's all done, nice and neat. I don't really know what else to show on it. Nice easy oil spout to get to. Still in its break-in period, I think, so definitely I'm gonna have to check that again soon. I don't see anything much on it because I only have about an hour on it, so I think it's like 10 hours, and then you change the oil on this machine or something like that. Let me get a rag and check that oil. Not really a fan of this dipstick. Oh, the camera won't focus on it. There's no ridges or anything on it, just those two holes. But besides that, you can't really tell where the oil is on it. Can't see oil though, so the engine is lubricated. And with fresh oil, I would probably have a very hard time at seeing where the level is because of how that dipstick is set up. So I'm not a fan of the dipstick. And that's just the thing with the Kohler engine. It's not really an issue with the mower, it's just the engine that they use, but that probably goes back to my reasoning of they should have made a Kawasaki version of this. Controls are pretty easy. This model, it has independent choke controls, so it doesn't have the integrated throttle and choke, so it has a separate choke. You got the key switch, PTO, and the throttle. You got your both of your steering levers. This thing steers really nice. And the reverse setting, there are shocks on it, so if you pull back on reverse and let go, they automatically return. So that's also nice and convenient, so the mower just doesn't continue backing up on you. I guess the last thing I'll mention before I forget is that this mower has a full-size battery on it, not a motorcycle battery. I looked at an Aaron's Icon XD. That was one of the machines I was considering buying, but it used a motorcycle battery instead of a full-size battery like this. So that's a good work, Toro, on putting a full-size battery in there. Because the Aaron's had plenty of room for a full-size battery too. I don't know why they didn't put it in there, but they did. And it's really easy. There's just a bungee strap that goes over top of the battery. So yeah, and 15-inch rubber strap with hooks. So I guess this is just a off counterpart. Maybe it did have a strap and it was broken, so they put this one on. I don't know, but it exists. Oh, plenty of storage. The storage panel is also accessible when the seat's up and when the seat's down. And probably a thing that not really many people think of, but it's good to have storage on a mower. Just so if you're mowing and there's trash on the ground or something, you can pick up the trash and put it in a cubby or something. It's good to have that bungee cord too, because when I'm going through gates, I attach one end right up here to the seat bracket and the other end to the chute to hold the chute open while I go through gates, which is a really nice feature. Just a great mower. And there's also two storage one back there and another one here. And this one has a cup holder, which I feel like is another feature that's overlooked. Because if you're mowing on a hot day and you're mowing a lot of yards, it's good to have some water or a cold drink or something on you. So that's another thing I like about this mower. The seat's okay. One of the things I really did like about the Aaron's I looked at is how comfortable the seat is. I'm pretty sure you could get an upgraded seat, and I think there's a version of this with a suspension system on it, but I'm not sure. But the seat on this, it's okay. It's a bit hard. I'd like it to be a bit more comfortable, because if you're mowing a lot of yards and yards that are really big and bumpy, having a comfortable seat is something that's kind of a must-have. Your back might get really hurt. So I have to put this thing in the garage, so might as well start it up, and I'll let you have a listen to it. Well, there's my initial thoughts on the 34-inch Toro Time Master. So, Might make more videos of this thing. I think I've said everything about this mower I wish to say. And if anyone wants to see a video of this thing cutting or something about this mower's cut quality, let me know. I could see if I could arrange a video about that. Thank you very much for watching and have a good day.